What's up, guys? Question we get a lot, and an issue that you deal with a lot is people talking about genetics. Genetic limitations or this or that. And today we're going to talk about two, really the only two ways I know of to overcome your genetics. And first of all, let's just talk about genetics for a little bit. People always say, oh, they see a good athlete. First thing they think, that guy he's genetically gifted. I mean, he's a genetic beast, whatever. And once if you happen to be that person who's been called, you're that way because you've always been that way, which people believe that about jumping. And if people know me from high school and they know me now, they know that I'm not the same athlete I was. I used to be. Anyways, I've been able to change myself in various ways. So, for me personally, I went from being 170 pounds to 235 pounds and still 10% body fat. It's just to say that you can change. That I'm not saying that genetics aren't real. They are real, but so is progress, no matter what your genes are. And so when I was kind of into a bodybuilding phase, people would look at me and say, well, look at you, of course. It's different for me. I can't put on muscle or whatever. And I'm just thinking, man, I've been through a lot to do this. Same thing with jumping. And so I've known, also had friends who, people would accuse them of steroids or, say that only because of their genetics are they that way. Let's say what that really is. When people say to somebody that it has to be because of their genetics, that is just a guess. It's just a guess. I mean, you'd have to really dig in. I mean, you'd really have to take a muscular cross section to really know and take a look at what their muscle fiber was, what types of muscle fiber they got, and you can also look at their leverage and their limb lengths and how that plays out with specific sport movements. And you can do a lot of that, but why would you do it? The people who I know who are bent on telling themselves that because of their genetics they'll never jump high or they'll never be strong are not making progress day after day after day, week after week after week, years on end. You can make progress, and unless you've been making progress for months and years, don't even think about getting discouraged about your genetics. Get discouraged about not making progress. And the only way you can make progress is by doing two things: working hard and working smart. Working hard alone might not get you there. I mean, you might be digging the wrong hole. You might be doing the wrong things and putting a lot of sweat equity into an investment that doesn't pay off. So you got to work hard, but you got to work smart. And it's just the truth. When I was a young athlete in high school and before, I didn't really have the right information to act on, but I did work hard. But I made very little progress, even though I didn't know anyone who was working as hard as me. I'm sure they're out there. I just was working day after day after day, putting hours in the gym. I was working so hard. I wasn't working smart. So there's only two ways that you can make progress. You can forget about your genetics. Maybe you have good genetics, maybe you don't. You have no idea until you've progressed, until you've made progress steadily and maintained that and put in that work. So until you make progress, until you max out what you have, don't talk about genetics. Just work hard and work smart, because I guarantee you can make serious progress. And yes, there are people who are just genetic beasts. Who they are, I don't know. You'd have to really know them. You'd have to really know their biology. You'd have to really know their background. I mean, people look at me or they look at other athletes and they don't know how many hours of sweat and research and they put into their work. We see athletes and we just say, oh man, you see a guy like that, he was just born to be, let's go easy on it. Let's not downplay the fact that we really don't have a clue. That's just conjecture. That's just guesswork. There's two ways to overcome it: work hard, work smart, sustain that progress. So I've never met anyone who's absolutely maxed out their potential. I've yet to meet that person. Yet to meet them. So, and most of the people who I see saying, such and such, this is my situation, this is why I can't jump higher, it's because of my genetics. They're not doing the right things, and they're not sustaining doing the right things over a long period of time. They're not they're not training smart and hard and maintaining that. So I mean, there's really no reason to say that until you can make progress. Anybody can make progress. Anybody can make progress. So if you're not making progress, that's the real problem. So learn how to make progress by learning the proper techniques and practices, and use your work ethic to put it to work and start making progress. Then, that's just all there is to it. Make progress, reach your own genetic potential, which most of you, probably all of you, never will actually reach that potential, which is very great. So I believe that we all have, potential beyond what we think we have. A lot of trainers out there, people out there will say, not everyone can reach jumps of above 35 inches or above 40 inches or things like that. And it's been my experience that, just training for a year, 2 years, people make amazing progress. And what if they sustain that for 5 years, 10 years, 15 years of laser targeted, intelligent training and maintaining that work ethic? 15 years. I mean, I'm not talking like doing some of the right things. I'm talking about like really nailing it. So I'm obviously one of the trainers who believes that we have a little more potential. I believe that we can reach those levels, and I see athletes making great progress, and it's exciting. So, and I also think that our ability, we're reaching an age where our research and our training techniques and what we know about how muscles and how movement works is just getting better and better and better. And